Hi everyone, hi, this is Joe again with another video. For saying this video, we'll be discussing the 1997 film Amistad, by Matthew McConaughey, Anthony Hopkins, who was directed by Steven Spielberg. But this movie, of course, it's mostly been forgotten because of the fact that it got beat out in every award by Titanic. So, it came out the same year as Titanic. This movie is supposed to be based on a true story about a slave ship revolt or a slave ship mutiny called on the Amistad back in 1839. And of course, Matthew McConaughey plays the lawyer defending all these groups of Africans who were on the Amistad, who mutinied, and who literally broke out of their chains, and they fought on the ship. Of course, in the United States, of course, they're always trying to determine who these people rightly belong to, and they thought, oh, they're going to go to Cuba or some Latin American countries. They weren't exactly sure because about 5 different people laying claim to this group of Africans. And of course, what basically happens is they go all the way to the Supreme Court, and former President John Quincy Adams, was played by Anthony Hopkins, defends or makes the argument for these groups of Africans in the Supreme Court. And surprisingly, since the majority of the people in the Supreme Court were from the South, of course, with the slavery going on, because I should mention that this movie takes place in 1839, so you had all that stuff going on, and you had so slavery was still going on here in the United States, and then trying to get new slaves to come in. And what happened was, of course, they had a rebellion on the ship, and so it was. And what became more and more frustrating was, at least for these groups of Africans, was that they couldn't understand why they have to keep going to court, or why they have to keep retelling their stories. And they try and get a translator at one point to translate to their language, and the language is not 100% compatible with English, and so they're trying to make them understand why they have to keep telling the stories, why they have to keep going to court, and why they're not free yet. And of course, the Africans getting frustrated, the lawyer was getting frustrated, and really showed that what really made this movie in a lot of people's minds was the fact that how they showed how brutal slavery was, especially on how on these slave ships, how they were treated. And of course, Spielberg showed in a pretty graphic fashion. Of course, don't forget, this movie came out like 4 years after Schindler's List. So of course, he showed how brutal the Holocaust was. Now he's going to show in this movie how brutal slavery was, especially, at least on the slave ships anyway. How brutal it was transporting hundreds if not thousands of slaves on these slave ships to America or to Latin America, and they showed it in a pretty graphic fashion. It was pretty graphic to watch that stuff. And then eventually they do get a Supreme Court, like I mentioned, and the Supreme Court ruled in the favor of the Africans, and they released them. Of course, when they did, I'm going to make this a real short review because I have really not that much to say about this film. They mentioned that the village, so the main character, I think it's Kochi or something, I think his name was, that his village was pretty much destroyed during the Civil War in his home country. And mind you, they didn't really mention what his home country was. But what they show was, and they flash to the bottom of the screen towards the end of the movie as this guy goes back to Africa, I should say, and showed that his whole village was destroyed, and it looked like that his whole family was put into slavery after all the time that he was trying to fight for his own freedom. His whole family and practically his whole village was destroyed, and whoever wasn't killed was put into slavery. and it was really, really, really a sad story about this guy. I know this guy. The reason why I have problems with movies like this is because you don't know how accurate the movies really are. Especially if it's supposed to be something about a historic event or a true story. You don't know how accurate the movie is because there's always some changes being made just to make the movie look better or the story sound better instead of the real life thing. And that's what I felt about the movies and how accurate is this movie. This movie is only with the performances of Anthony Hopkins and Matthew McConaughey was coming off his breakout role in the movie that came out the year before, which was A Time to Kill. That was like his first movie after that. And I thought he gave a damn good a bad performance in this movie than Time to Kill. And of course, Anthony Hopkins always comes through in gives a good performance in this movie as well. It's Don Quincy Adams, and he gave a great speech, from the Supreme Court. Because to me, that was the whole movie, a speech to the Supreme Court. It went on a little bit too long, I felt, but it's worth saying that. It's definitely worth saying that. That's on that alone. But in the movie itself, it was okay, but not great. And if you happen to be a Spielberg fan, naturally going to recommend it. Or if you're an Anthony Hopkins fan or Matthew McConaughey fan, I'm going to recommend it. And anything else, forget it. So that's my review of the movie Amistad. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, that's all WDY, letterc.com, there's a homepage to the Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.